Father. Finally, we got The Father, Dave. This is the last big Academy Award movie we have to we get to talk about. I shouldn't say have to talk about because I thought this movie was actually quite a pleasure. Directed by Florian Zeller, starring Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman, a couple other people that you might recognize, but
Rufus Sewell.
yeah, I mean they're really the movie, these two, and it basically tells a story about a father played by Anthony Hopkins who is dealing with dementia and or Alzheimer's, one of the two. It's never, I guess, explicitly said. I guess here in the
Yeah.
description it says dementia, so I guess maybe they did say it and I just missed it. But and it really explores their relationship, and I think what makes this movie stand out is how it mimics or tries to mimic the effects that dementia have on the people who are dealing with it. The movie is very confusing at points and kind of leaves you feeling off balance and not really sure what's real and what's not. And I think I think it's really effective in that sense. And it's really just anchored by the performances of these two, Coleman and
Right.
Hopkins. Uh, I really liked it. How did you feel about the movie?
Yeah, I also liked it quite a bit. This is a movie that had been talked about for a while. It's Sundance 2020, finally out to the public over a year later.
Yeah.
After it's gotten 6 Oscar nominations, like you really had no chance to see this until right around when the Oscar nominations came out. Like it was playing limited release, but kind of noteworthy to me because this is Florian Zeller's first movie. Because Florian Zeller is really a playwright
Hmm.
and theater figure. He, of course, wrote the play, made the play this was based on uh, almost 10 years ago at this point. It had already been adapted into a French movie before. And now he gets to adapt his own play. And not only that, but he gets Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman. It's like, good job, dude. Like,
Yeah, for real.
way to rise up. And I was really, because like going in, it's like Anthony Hopkins supposed to be really good. He's about dementia. Like, that's really all I knew. I did not know that like the non-linear narrative and unreliable narrator stuff was going to come up. And the movie's actually really great in how it uh, takes any kind of like semblance of certainty from the viewer. Like it just takes all that away, and you really don't know what's real and what's not. And I think it's a marvelous way to try and display something like dementia. And again, theatrical adaptation, we don't really leave these two flat scenes all that much at all. Yet it still felt quite cinematic to me because again, like the way like your
Mhm.
perspective keeps being changed and altered, and what you think what you think is happening, and what you think has already happened, what you think might happen, like you really just don't have a handle on it. And I think it's told in such a great way. And a big part of that, of course, is Anthony Hopkins is tremendous.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is throwing 100, and they both have been nominated for their performances.
Yeah.
Hopkins for Best Actor, Coleman for Best Supporting Actress, and uh, completely worthy. I mean, Hopkins throughout this, the range of emotions he goes through, the way he kind of flips from being this charming and witty and funny guy to being just so cutting and angry and closed off is just really, really impressive, and ending in, I think, one of the most like devastating final scenes I can remember in a movie from this past year, where he breaks down and just is calling for his mother. It's
Yeah.
completely heartbreaking throughout.
Yeah, I thought the end was completely devastating, no
Yeah.
question. But again, like, the setup is so good. Like I think early on when he still quick, like as he said, I'm an intelligent man. I'm actually quite intelligent.
Mhm.
Like early on, we start, you start learning about how he like forgets that where he puts his watch and stuff, and he's like, oh, I can tell the time. It's 5 o'clock if you're interested. I happen to be interested. And I was like, oh my god,
Mhm.
this is hilarious because I think Hopkins, I think he's just such a thespian. He can just sell all this stuff with like little ticks, And
Yeah.
I think one of the best scenes is when Imogen Poots' character comes in as one of the caregivers, who's just like she's an indie staple at this point, and she She's really good. The kind of like an understated performance, handling a lot of different emotions as she's kind of going through the ringer and running the gamut with Anthony Hopkins' character Anthony, as he's kind of putting on the charms and also being like stealthy, like really nasty,
Hmm.
and which is again another side of dementia, right? And
Hmm.
uh, there's just a lot of standout moments. I was quite impressed because again, going in knowing it was a stage adaptation about dementia, I didn't think there was a whole lot to really show. Besides, I assumed it would be a good script and good acting, but like the way it handles, I think the linearity and stuff really stands out to me.
Yeah, using Olivia Colman's characters, um, decision to move away for herself as like a real detail of confusion throughout, I think is really interesting. From one moment she's telling him that, oh, I'm moving, and if you don't find a caretaker, we're gonna have to, possibly put you into a nursing home, which he gets put in like one of the nicest nursing homes that there ever was. For a
Totally.
nurse to just like sit with someone like that for so long and be that patient is incredible. But and then later on to have her be like, oh no, that's not something I ever mentioned. And just having that detail flip back and forth so often really just keeps you off balance and leaves you feeling like frustrated and confused, and really mimicking, I think, the experience of someone dealing with this illness. Um, and, and I think Coleman also, you know I remember her a lot of the time for her roles in like Fleabag,
The
and like
favorite.
her, yeah, the favorite, where she just gets to be like so outwardly bombastic
Yeah,
and
she's a
uh,
ham.
right, exactly, and that's also kind of how she portrays herself at award shows when she wins. She's very much just like this bubbly uh, person who has a huge personality. She's much more reserved in this, but I think like the scenes that she's like dealing with her embarrassment and confusion and worry and concern and pain is really uh, done so tactfully throughout. And I don't. She doesn't really get a big scene, I wouldn't
Yeah, I
say,
thought she'd be in the movie more, to be
but
honest.
I still think she's really effective. How did you feel about her performance?
Yeah, no, she's really good. I mean, there's because a lot of subtle stuff, right? Where it's like
Hmm.
she's playing off Anthony Hopkins, and you can see her like welling up and becoming upset, and yeah, it's again like there's a lot of devastating scenes in this movie.
Yeah, and I think to add to the confusion, getting the Catherine Ann character Olivia Williams, who I thought they really just like de-aged Olivia Colman at
Yeah,
first.
me
I was
too.
like,
I was like, huh.
they look so similar. It was insane. I thought that was really like interesting and well done touch to it all too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a lot more to say. It's just
no,
really well done, but super affecting.
yeah. I think the other scene I really liked was that and you don't know it's coming until it's basically already happened, where it's like Anthony goes through a whole loop where he watches Rufus Sewell and Olivia Colman talk about how he's ill and you have to put him in a home, and like
Hmm.
you see him go through this whole thing at the dinner table, and then you go back to that same conversation, you hear it from a different perspective, and
Yeah.
it's like oh, again another really smart touch.
Yeah, no, for sure. Movie's really well done. Go check it out if you can, especially because the Oscars are next month.